Welcome back. In this video we're going to take a look at useContext. useContext is a way to share data between components in a React application without having to pass the props explicitly through each level of component tree. So let's go and see that in action. Alright, if we look at this image here, we can see that we have a parent here and a child here. And there are two components in the middle. So this is like the grandparent, this is the parent, this is the child, and this is the grandchild. And if we want to pass a data from here down to here without context, we need to pass it to the first child, and then from this to this, and then from this to this. And you can easily see that it would get pretty complicated as the app grows. So how can we resolve that using the context? Let's go and see it in action. So here I have a very simple component called useContext example. It just renders another component that is called form, and it passes along a prop called title. In the form here, we get the title that was passed from here down to here, and in the title component we just grab that title and show it here. So if we go, it would be something like this. Pretty simple. Now this form doesn't need to know about the title, only this should provide it and this should consume it, so to say. In order to use the context and remove the prop drilling from here down to here, we need to do three things. First, create the context. We can create the context here, but I would usually use another file for doing that. Let's call it context.js. It imports create context. Then I would call my context something. Let's call it title context. And by convention it should be capitals. And this just calls the create context function. And in the end we just export it. And let's call it export default, like so. So our context is created. Now we need to provide it. So here I would get that context. Then I would provide it here using title context dot provider, and then we provide the data that we want. This will get a value, and the value can be anything. For now we just pass a simple value like this, and we have the form inside that. Now the form doesn't need to know about the title anymore. And if I go to the form, I can remove the title here, and I can remove the title here, and in the title I can consume it. Now let's grab the context here. So I can say const title is useContext, the title context here, and here I can just show it like this. So let's go and see it in action. You can see this has changed. Now if I go here and change this to my new form, it works the same. Great. Can we define some dynamic value here? Sure. So let's go and define a, let's say, state, call it title, and set title. In the beginning it is just my title, and then here in the form I would have another input that when it changes it would just set the title to be e.target.value, and I'm closing it here, and instead of passing a string here I would pass the title here. And now if I go here and change this to new title, it works perfect. So yeah, this was about creating and using the context. I hope you have enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one.